Stardust Racers is the most thrilling attraction at the brand new Epic Universe theme park at the Universal Orlando Resort. It is a mock rides racing coaster featuring two separate tracks that pass alongside each other throughout a twisted layout. Each side features a top hat, numerous airtime hills, some incredible near misses, and one singular inversion dubbed the Celestial Spin. The ride can be found in Epic Universe's central hub, Celestial Park. It has a classy Art Deco theme and has opened to rave reviews. After experiencing each side numerous times, I think we might be looking at Universal's best roller coaster and easily one of the greatest on the planet. This is going to be my full in-depth review about the attraction. I'm going to go into detail with the layout, presentation, capacity, all that good stuff. But the bottom line right away is this is an attraction you're going to want to do as soon as possible. I've done a lot of mock roller coasters around the world. I've done a lot of racing and dueling coasters around the world. And this is something special. You know, I have a lot of nostalgia for the original Dueling Dragons roller coaster at Islands of Adventure. How cool were those crossovers and just the whole concept that you're going head to head with another train. And I was super sad when it closed. Sure, in return, we got Hagrid's and now Velocicoaster. So in the end, Islands of Adventure is now a much stronger park because of it. But Stardust is like they took the concept of Dueling Dragons and combined it with Velocicoaster. And it might just be better than both of them. I don't know. I'm still undecided whether I like this or Velocicoaster more. Stay tuned to find out. But let's walk through this experience. Stardust Racers is located on the right side of Celestial Park. It opens up with this magnificent view of the two tracks crossing over each other, each train coming within feet of the other in what is the only head-to-head moment on the coaster. The rest of the time, they're side by side. To the left is the beautiful marquee sign, marked with two comets running parallel, rotating in unison. It is stunning. You'll see two statues on either side of the entrance. Those are the Stardust Goddesses. And the queue looks like a train station. It's called the Launch Point. It's powered by the Cosmos. It formerly was used to send travelers to other worlds, but they lost some along the way. Now that the Celestians have the portals, they have reused this space for one of their fun pastimes, and that is racing on comets. In the exterior queue, you'll notice all these orbs on the ground. Those are comets that have crash landed. The outdoor queue looks relatively simple. It's mainly just a bunch of switchbacks. But at night, the whole queue comes to life when the trains fly directly past you. All the surrounding lights change colors to match the trains. And then as soon as they've passed, they go back to what they were before. It's really, really cool. From here, you'll enter your lockers. No loose articles are allowed on Stardust Racers. That includes your Nintendo power-up bands. Put everything in the free lockers. Backpacks fit, no problem. And they are double-sided, so you'll pick your items up at the end. You'll then walk up the stairs, go through metal detection, and then you choose your side, yellow or green. Yellow is called Photon, and green is called Pulsar. From my experience, green typically always has the longer line. It has built up a little bit of a reputation for being the better side, though not by much. So if you're looking to just get on as soon as possible, you'll probably have more luck with yellow. And the queue will take you right in between the two loading platforms. This is a beautiful station. You'll see all these comets overhead. It's even prettier at night. It's not steampunk, it's Art Deco. When the Universal teams were working on this, they were explicitly told no gears. And it feels classier. I didn't know a roller coaster could feel classy, but it does. And it's not like it's elaborately themed either. It really is just stylized. It actually reminded me a lot of the Liseberg-Bahnen station over at Liseberg. Very similar vibe. And then you get a look at these trains, and they are beautiful. Some of the nicest trains I've ever seen, and there's a lot to unpack here. First off, we have a brilliant Back to the Future reference on the back of each train with the flux capacitor. Stardust Racers is not directly themed to the film franchise. However, this is a nice little implication that Doc Brown might have somehow gotten involved with the Celestians in creating a device to help power the vehicles. The trains are also covered in lights from front to back, and there is working onboard audio with two different tracks. A very grand, magnificent celestial theme during the day, and then a total party EDM at night. It's a very big change of pace from daytime, which just has a magnificent feel to it. I love both versions for different reasons. Stardust Racers is Universal's new must-do roller coaster at night. The trains are the only thing lit up, so it gives the illusion that comets are shooting across the night sky. It is very dark back there, and when you are flying at such high speeds alongside another lit-up train, it is next-level awesome. Now, each side on Stardust can run with 4 trains at a time, so that is 8 total vehicles if they are running at full capacity. If they have all vehicles on the track, it's designed for 55-second dispatches, theoretically putting through 2,600 people per hour. Realistically, though, it ends up being more around 2,200 people per hour, but still incredibly impressive. This is the highest capacity ride at Epic Universe. Therefore, the line is never too long. From my experience, the longest waits are at the very beginning of the day and the very end of the night when people want their night rides. But if you go for a ride just partway through the day, you probably won't wait too long. And even when it was running just 2 trains on each side, they're still putting through a lot of people. Their theoretical capacity was 1,300 people per hour. Realistically, though, it's more around 1,100 people per hour, which is still higher than a lot of other roller coasters. More recently, I've seen them run 3 trains on each side, which would equal about 1,650 per hour. And those crews are very efficient. They have a lot of team members on platform, just a lap bar, no seatbelt, and when one train is loading, the other is unloading. And as long as they're running more than 2 trains on each side, they also have multi-move, which means as soon as those trains up front are dispatching, the next on the brake runs will slide forward, and that ends up saving a couple seconds each time, which does add up. Now, there's one more big change with these trains that we gotta discuss, and that is additional bracing on the seats. Most mock rides thrill coasters have a wishbone seating setup, so essentially you have one central support that then splits off to hold 2 seats, and often that will contribute to a shake or rattle. It's not necessarily uncomfortable, but it can be very noticeable. While on the surface, it looks like Stardust Racers has the same setup, they've actually added more bracing in between the seats to hopefully help reduce that shake. Voltron over at Europa Park had the same thing. And from my experiences on Stardust Racers, it absolutely made a difference. Stardust doesn't have that mock rattle. I would consider it a very smooth ride. Sure, it might have 1 or 2 moments in the valleys where there's a lot of positive G-forces where you might have more of a rough spot, but it's not common, and frankly, you might not even notice it. From my understanding, they've also been fine-tuning the track in certain areas. That's why you can see these sections on the rails that look worn down. It's not because of the road wheels, it's because the crews are working overnight to improve those sections. And as with most roller coasters, if you sit in the front row of each car, you're in for a smoother ride. But I still wouldn't call the back rows of each car rough. Now, from here, each side will roll out of the station. They always dispatch them in sync, so you're guaranteed to get a perfect duel every time. Unless one side isn't working, or someone puked, which every once in a while does happen. But you'll take this wide turn on either side and then line up in the launch tunnel. This is a very unique first launch, and it will catch you by surprise. It's essentially split in half. You see, because of the unique design of Stardust Racers, the transfer track and maintenance bay is underneath the station where the launch is. So they have a set of LSM stators at the beginning, there's a gap, and then it picks back up for that second half of the launch. Right in the middle is where they would transfer a train off at night. It's very, very cool. From a rider experience, though, the first part of that launch feels like a nice ease-in, like, oh, this isn't too bad. You're staring off at the other train and the other riders, like, laughing like, all right, this is gonna be cool. You better put your head back, though, because as soon as you hit the second part of that launch, you boost up into the top hat. According to Universal, you hit 4 Gs at the end of the launch track, and I believe it. The second half of this launch has some kick to it. It is awesome. The music is blaring, you rise up into the daylight, and those top hats are awesome. If you're sitting in the front, you get crazy ejector airtime rising up. In the back, you get thrown down the drop. Now, what's interesting is, for the average roller coaster that has a top hat, that is the tallest point of the ride, not on Stardust Racers. This top hat is 110 feet tall, but the Celestial Spin stands 23 feet higher. That's pretty unconventional. And what's funny is this top hat has actually sparked quite a bit of discussion online. During testing, a set of trims were added on the drop to control the high G-forces that you experience, but only in the back cars. From what we've heard, only the back car was outside of ASTM standards, and only by like a fraction. So these trims were put in place to help mitigate that, but let me tell you, it's not even noticeable. You're not going to feel them at all, and that was a relief. The drop off the top hat is awesome. Now, from my understanding, the bottom of this drop is the most intense part of the ride. According to the Ride Forces app, you max out at 4.3 Gs, which is very impressive. Other high moments of positive G-forces include the bottom of the celestial spin, and then actually right after the top hat at the bottom of this downward turn. And speaking of that element, this is actually a very unique moment, especially if you're sitting in the front. You'll get ejected as you rise up into it, and then you'll start to dangle sideways while you're waiting for the rest of the train to catch up. You pretty much stall out there on the peak, so you went from high speeds to now slowing down, but luckily you build all that speed back up for this next section, which is just airtime hill after airtime hill. Whether you're on green or yellow, you're going to go through 4 or 5 ejector airtime moments as you travel towards the main pathway of Celestial Park. Some of these are smaller hills, there's a couple large camelbacks there's even a double up, and every single one sends you up out of your seat. If you're riding Stardust Racers in the morning, it's this section why I recommend sitting towards the front. Earlier in the day when it hasn't fully warmed up, the forces hit better up front. Later in the day though, when it's running faster, I tend to lean towards the back. The back is also where you get the full dueling effect. You have a clear visual of each train, which is super satisfying. Regardless though, there really isn't a bad seat on Stardust Racers. The airtime is genuinely phenomenal. It is the most airtime on any roller coaster in Orlando, without a doubt. On a hot summer day when the ride is running fast, your max negative G-forces are going to be negative 1.5, which is very impressive. And then maybe like on average, it's probably around like negative 1.3. So still super strong. I actually had the interesting experience of riding Stardust Racers once where it wasn't dueling at all because the other side was down for technical difficulties. And it was moments like this trip out when you're just going over airtime hill after airtime hill that reminds you that each layout can stand on its own. It is a really strong coaster regardless of the dueling. But as soon as you throw another train in there, it just adds to the thrill because your body is getting thrust up then thrust back down over these hills while your eyes are glued to what the other train is doing. So you might not even be paying attention to what is ahead of you. Each side takes turns passing over and under the other. They separate for a bit to go on either side of the station, and then that's when they dive towards the valley for that head-to-head moment. And then they just rejoin on the other side to line up for the second launch. And if you thought the first launch was cool, wait till you get a load of this. Launch 2 has 3 different settings because at this point, you've already gone through half the ride. So there's a chance that one of the trains might be lagging a bit behind the other. So, depending on the status of your race, the second launch will adjust to catch the other train back up. So let's first say that upon arriving at launch 2, the trains are perfectly in line with each other. Well, at that point, they both boost at the same rate, staying in line with the other. Now, let's say that you're ahead. You'll obviously launch, but maybe not quite as much to give the other train a chance to catch up. And let's say that you're the train that's behind. You get a much more exaggerated second launch so that you can catch up. You'll effectively get boost mode, and it is incredible. This is one of those moments when you actually want to be slightly behind so that you can experience that boost. This is also the fastest moment on Stardust Racers, 62.6 miles per hour. That's only 2.6 miles per hour faster than Launch 1, which is just an even 60. This is so that you can make it through the celestial spin at 133 feet in the air, and it is the best part of the ride. One of the best inversions in the world, one of the greatest elements of all time. To make this work, Pulsar, or Greenside, will immediately flip into a 0G roll directly after that launch. And that is the part of the ride that makes some people prefer the Greenside. Photon, or Yellow, will rise up into what starts to be a traditional like top hat or airtime hill. So if you're on Yellow, you will look up and see passengers on the green side flipping directly over your head. It feels like you can reach out and grab them. That's the first half of the element. Those who are just upside down will now level out and go into a traditional drop. This is when Yellow flips upside down into what is essentially a barrel roll down drop. So in this scenario, if you're dropping on green side, you can look up and see passengers on Yellow upside down staring at you from above. It is an unbelievably cool sensation. The clearance is so close. Like if both riders on the trains have their arms stretched out, you feel like you're within less than a foot of shaking hands with them. That is unbelievable. And this is the epic start to the second half of the ride, which is all about speed and crazy crossovers. Following the celestial spin, both tracks will go side by side into these overbanked turns. You are right in line with the other train, dropping back down. You have so much speed, you just feel like you are flying. Incredible pacing, you rise up into this directional change, you'll whip to the left. One train will dive under the other. The head choppers are nuts. You feel like ducking under some of these turns because you get really close to the underside of the other track. It's some of the best head choppers I have ever seen. There's another crossover and then this sort of high five at the end where the tracks will like slightly bank towards each other. Not as dramatically as something like what's on Twisted Colossus or West Coast Racers, but it's still a cool finale as you then go into another final airtime hill that takes you into the brake grind. You'll pass under the checkered flags and whichever side is the winner will light up. But frankly, it's kind of subtle, so you might completely miss it if you're not paying attention. And it is a phenomenal finale. As much as I love all the airtime hills at the beginning of the ride, I think the second half is my favorite. Everything from the second launch onwards is so sick. I was genuinely sad when the ride ended. I just wanted it to keep on going. And that's with even almost 5,000 feet of track per side. 4,760 on yellow and 4,780 on green. But this is absolutely a roller coaster that you're going to want to re-ride over and over again. Get immediately back in line, especially if you can time it up or you can race your friends. If you've done Twisted Colossus or West Coast Racers, you know the feeling. It's a very similar sensation, but this is even better. And unlike Twisted Colossus, you don't have to play a guessing game of will we line up. On Stardust, you will. Now, one of the things I love about Twisted Colossus is how many standout, unique dueling moments there are. So, you have the high five at the beginning, the Top Gun stall, the zero-G roll with the airtime hill. And I've seen some people online saying that they wish that Stardust had another inversion or another moment in the style of Twisted Colossus. For me personally, I didn't feel like I was missing out. But that being said, a Top Gun stall on Stardust Racers would have been incredible. Or like a true high five where you're 90 degrees on either side. Don't get me wrong, that would have been fantastic. But also, Twisted Colossus does not have the crossovers that Stardust does. And there's way more airtime here. So it's a give and take, I think. To me, this is by far the best racing or dueling coaster I have ever experienced. The only other ones who come close are the rides that like never duel anymore, aka Twisted Colossus or the other dueling dragons over in China. It's like impossible to get a duel on those, even though I love the layouts. And by having those metal detection and making sure that no one has any loose articles on them, Universal is doing their best to ensure that this can stay a racing coaster and not suffer the same fate that Dueling Dragons had towards the end of the life, where they had to stagger the trains and you never got a duel anymore. So, for Stardust Racers' final score, of course, it's getting a 10 out of 10. This is like just about a flawless experience. It instantly shot up as one of my top roller coasters I've ever been on. I knew I'd like it going in, but I didn't expect to like it this much. It's as if you took a high thrill coaster like Velocicoaster and put it alongside another track, incorporating these incredible crossover moments. If it was just one track, it would have been fantastic on its own, but Universal stepped up a notch. The folks at Mach Rides designed one heck of a layout, and it's easily one of my 3 favorite Mach coasters I've done. I put it right up there with like Voltron and Ride to Happiness. My favorite roller coasters from this manufacturer are typically all overseas, so the fact that we finally got an incredible experience like this here in America and in Orlando where it's super accessible is just a dream. Stardust alone makes a one-day ticket to Epic Universe worth it. So what are you waiting for? They've lassoed the comets, now it's your job to race them. Let me know down in the comments below if you've experienced Stardust Racers or if you plan on riding it soon. If you think there's anything I left out, be sure to post that down below. And stay tuned for more coaster reviews here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you next time.